Alright, so it's nearly 5 a.m. now, haven't slept yet, so hopefully this repair goes okay. But anyways, I'm going to show how to replace the keyboard on this 13-inch MacBook Pro mid 2015 model A1502. Right, so we're going to use a Pentalobe 1.2 or P5 screwdriver. I believe we'll also need a T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver, and then we might need some others, but we'll see. If I remember correctly, we probably won't need to remove the other components. So, alright, let's go ahead and remove all the screws from the bottom. So you want to keep them in order by putting the flat side like this down on your desk in the pattern that you remove them, so this rectangular pattern, because if you put the wrong screws in the wrong place, you can cause damage to the computer. So we are using the Pentalobe 1.2 or P5 screwdriver as mentioned earlier. Alright, so let's go ahead and remove all these screws. These two screws in the back are bit shorter than the rest. Other than that, the rest all look about the same, but again, it's always a good idea to keep all the screws in order so that way you put back the same screw where you got it from. If this video helps you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share my channel with others so that they can also learn how to upgrade and repair their devices. If it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel so that I can continue making these videos for a living. Every little bit helps and is greatly appreciated. These are actually customer computer repairs that I do. I don't really buy computers to work on them or get computers like randomly to work on. So most of the time I won't have these computers. So if you need me to show something else, most likely I won't be able to show it. But you might be able to find other videos that I have up that might show those repair processes. Just search "It's Been Repaired" and the model of your computer, and hopefully you'll be able to find something. Alright, so anyways, let's continue removing all these screws. Alright, this is a very difficult, time-consuming repair. Keep that in mind. You'll probably want to watch the video all the way through before attempting this. Yeah, watch it all the way through before buying a keyboard. Alright, so now that we got all those screws out, we're going to go from the back here and then just pull the cover up. You might have to wiggle it a little to undo the little clips. So there we go. We got that out. We'll set the cover aside for now. Alright, next thing you want to do is disconnect the battery. Let's actually zoom in so you can get a better view of this. Oh shoot, I think this model I have to actually lift the battery out to replace the keyboard. That's gonna suck. Alright, I wasn't thinking of that. Alright, so to get the battery out, if you look here, there's the connector there. So we're gonna go underneath, and I use my fingernails, and at the corners we're kind of just gonna wiggle and pull it. Alright, and there we go. So there's the connector. So again, you only want to pull at the lip. You don't want to try and pull this down here or you'll damage the motherboard. Alright, so there we go. We got that disconnected. Once you get the battery disconnected, what you want to do, okay, is open up the computer. Assuming your power button still works, press and hold that. Sometimes when the keyboard's broken, the power button actually stops working, and you might have to actually connect the replacement keyboard in there to turn it on. So if you wanted to test your computer after removing the, after you buy the new keyboard, you'd basically attach the new one like this. Let me show you. So you'd flip this latch up. Alright, once you flip that up, you can use this plastic tab here to pull this connector out. Alright, so once you pull on it, you can see that comes out just like that. And then the replacement keyboard, alright, you can attach it. Make sure you have the connector up, facing up the right way, but you can actually connect it underneath like this. Alright, I'm not going to do that because I already tested it and everything, and I drained the power. If I didn't mention clearly earlier, because sorry, I have like lack of sleep. But anyways, after disconnecting the power, make sure this keyboard is plugged in, and then open the computer, press and hold the power button for about 15 seconds to drain any residual power and make it safer to work on. Alright, so now let's go ahead and start removing pretty much everything from here. Alright, so let's go from left to right, or my left to right. Okay, so we are going to need other size screws as well. We're going to need a PH0 or JIS0 screwdriver. So I'm going to grab that as well. And then we might also need the T8 Torx 8 screwdriver. All right, so first thing I'm going to do using the, sorry, not the pentalobe. We're going to switch to the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver. We're going to first remove this little rubber piece here. So between this long area of the rubber piece, there's actually an adhesive sticking down to the two screws. So I'm going to get the screwdriver under there under the rubber between the two screws, and I'm going to use that to lift that adhesive out. So here you can see, now we got that up. So we're going to set that aside. All right, we actually only need to remove this side so that we can undo these two screws. We don't need to remove the rubber piece from the other side. The main reason is just so we can get the antenna board antennas out of the way. So let's go ahead and remove these two screws. These are the T8 or Torx 8 screws. Go ahead and remove those two. All right. This repair is probably going to take me close to 2 hours or so. But anyways, now that we got that, you can see the antenna wires are coming up. So let's go ahead and pop the wireless antennas out. I just grab the tails here with my fingernails, and then I just pull it straight up, just like that. We're going to do that with all three antennas. All right, just like that. There we go. Now we got the antennas out of the way. Okay, we're also going to want to remove the eyesight or webcam camera cable, whatever you want to call it. So what we're going to do, because there's an adhesive here, we're going to kind of lift this up slightly, and then we're also going to go ahead and peel this cable back. Alright, so this is a pretty difficult cable to remove, and then to remove this you kind of have to wiggle it. Alright, so I try and use my fingernails here, and then I kind of just walk the connector like left, right, like that, and as you can see, it slowly pulls that connector out, and there we go. So let's go ahead and peel this cable. You don't want to crease it too much, so pull the cable this way as you pull it up to try and keep it as flat as possible. All right, and there we go. So we're just going to get that cable out of the way. All right, let's see what else we got to remove here. We're done with the T8 Torx 8 screwdriver for now. All right, so now we're going to switch back to the, or I guess let's use the PH0 or JAS0 screwdriver, and let's remove this one screw that's holding this heatsink part in place. Again, you want to keep all these screws in order. Just put them in the pattern that you remove them on your desk so that you can keep track of them. All right, I'm going to leave the wireless card here, but basically if you wanted to remove it, there's one screw, then you can pull it up. There's a little thermal pad under there, so it'll stick to this board underneath a little, but then you just pull it up and then you can pull it out. All right, you'd pull it this way, but it has to be up slightly at an angle. All right, so now let's go ahead and work our way down. So we're going to remove the fan screw here. All right. Next, we're going to remove the screw down here. All right. I'm warning you, there's a lot of screws here, so if you are attempting this, make sure you watch the whole video to see if it's worth your time and effort. You can also use a USB keyboard. The only problem is if your keyboard's randomly typing stuff, you can't really disconnect the keyboard because then you won't have a power button to turn your Mac on. But anyways, remove those two screws, and then we can lift this metal plate up and out of the way. Again, set it somewhere so you can keep track of the order. I am going to have to remove the speakers as well. So let's go ahead and get the three screws holding these speakers in place. All right, I'm going to set them aside further out of the way. Alright, so we got those three screws out. Now the speaker is loose, but we do need to remove more stuff first before we pull that out. So let's work our way over here, and then let's remove this one screw here at the bottom of the fan. Okay, be careful not to damage this cable. Alright, we're going to keep working our way over. We're going to get this screw out that's right here. Okay, now we're going to remove the screw that's in the upper part of the fan here. Oops, sorry, there we go. Alright, now the fan is loose. And then we're going to remove the last screw in this row or column or whatever you want to call it up here. There we go. Alright, let's actually remove the fan now. So there's this little latch here. flip that up. All right, once you flip that up, we can actually get the fan out. So this fan, I like to use this raised part to push that connector back, just like this. There we go, and we got that out. And oh, actually, we don't need to remove the fan on this model. Okay, I forgot that this fan, we're gonna leave this connected. Let's go ahead and put that back in if I can. Come on. Hopefully I'm not damaging the fan. It's gonna suck if I have to replace it. That's what I get for working on very little sleep. There we go, get that fan back in, flip that latch down. I'm actually gonna leave that screw in there, okay? And the reason being is this fan, it tucks underneath the heatsink here. So to remove it, you'd actually have to remove the motherboard anyways. And because of that, I'm actually gonna just leave this fan attached to the motherboard so that we don't actually have to take it out. But if you did want to take it out, you would have to take out either the heatsink here, or you'd have to take all the motherboard screws out to lift the motherboard up. Alright, so let's continue working our way over. Sorry for that. Let's go ahead and remove the 2 screws holding this metal plate in place. Alright. So those 2 screws. Alright, then we'll take the metal plate out. Alright, now let's go ahead and remove this cable here. I use my fingernails at 2 opposite corners of this board, and then just pull it up. Same thing with the other side. Right, you might have to wiggle it a little, and there we go. So we'll set this cable aside as well. Alright, so underneath here you can see speaker connector, and then also we got this board connector. This board we can't pull out until we remove the rest of the motherboard, or if you want, you can remove the heatsink again. I don't like removing the heatsink because then I have to redo all the thermal paste, and I don't like having to do that unless I really have to. Alright, so here we go. We got the trackpad connector here, or touchpad connector. We're going to pull that up. There's an adhesive here. Again, you don't want to crease this cable, so you want to pull it that way as you kind of lift it up. And then I like to keep my finger down here so that when the adhesive is all released, it doesn't just rip the cable out. So there we go. Alright, now we're going to go underneath here, and then we're going to flip this latch, and then we're going to pull the trackpad cable out. Alright, so just like this. There we go. So we're taking this out because we're most likely going to have to remove the battery, because this battery is on top of the keyboard. And yeah, this is one of the most annoying keyboards to replace in the world. Okay, so anyways, let's go ahead and continue removing T5 screws. So we got one up here. We're going to leave the SSD in place again, just like the wireless card, because it doesn't need to be removed to remove the motherboard. So if you want, again, there's one screw there, also T5, Torx 5. Once you remove that screw, just pull it up slightly and then pull it out that way. Alright, so again, I'm going to leave that in there. Alright, let's go ahead and remove this screw down here. Alright, what do we got next here? Okay, so now we got this one screw up here in this corner. Remove that, and that might be all the motherboard screws. Let's go ahead and actually remove the rest of these connectors. So we're going to remove the speaker over here. Okay, so we're going to remove the 3 screws holding this speaker in place. Right. Alright. Get all those speakers out. There we go. Alright, sorry, I'm making sure the screws are organized. Alright, there we go. Let me actually zoom out a little bit to show you how to remove the speaker. So to remove the speaker, there's this connector here, and this connector, you just pop it straight up, but you want to be careful not to pop up the connector, the motherboard itself. So we're going to go underneath here. There is a little adhesive, so I'm going underneath, and I'm going to use my fingernail to get as close to the connector as I can, and then using that, I'm going to kind of leverage it and pop that connector up just like that. Okay, again, you want to be very careful not to pry this. If you have a small thin plastic tool, you can get underneath. If you can see here, this plastic, it actually has a little part, that indentation part, that lets you get the tool underneath and then pop that up. Alright, so now that we got that, we're going to lift the speaker up just like this, and then we're going to slide it underneath this part and remove that. Okay, I'll set that speaker aside. Same thing for the other side. Alright, so the speaker there as well. You got the speaker connector here, but let's go ahead and lift this up first. Okay, so same thing, it should just come up. I don't know why it's kind of stuck here. Alright, so just like this, lift that up. And then we're gonna lift that out. There's some adhesive holding this cable in place here, so just kind of peel that away. Alright, and then same thing, we're gonna get underneath here. There's some adhesive just like the other one, so get that adhesive up. I'm gonna get my fingernail underneath there, and then we're gonna kind of pop that up just like that. Alright, we're gonna set that speaker aside as well. Alright, we got this connector here. We don't really need to remove this right away, but let's go ahead and do it. So this one, you have these two wings here, and you want to kind of pinch them as you kind of wiggle and pull it back, and there we go. So there we go. Alright, let's see here what else we got to remove. Alright, so you don't want to forget this. I believe this is the keyboard backlight connector. So I'm going to get my fingernail under there. Again, you can use a plastic pry tool, but you just pop that up just like that. I'm going to move that out of the way. A lot of people forget about that cable and damage it, and then your keyboard won't light up. Anyways, now we're going to go over here. We're going to pop this connector up. This is the LCD Lvds connector here. Alright, so I just use, again, my fingernail underneath the metal latch here. If you want, you can get this little black plastic tab up and pull it, but I just use my fingernail under there to flip that up, just like that. And then you can use your two hands, both fingers on both hands, and then kind of wiggle and pull that back. Alright, there we go. You want to try and grab as close low to the bottom of that latch as you can, but there we go. Alright, now we got two screws holding in the charge port here, so we're going to get those two screws out. Again, these are all T5 Torx 5 screws for the most part. So far we've only had to remove like 3 other non-T5 Torx 5 screws that were holding part of the motherboard kind of stuff out, but for the most part they're T5 or Torx 5. Again, you want to keep all the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths. Alright, so now that we got that, we can actually lift the charge port out. So this model is actually nice. If you somehow damage the charge port, you can actually replace this one fairly easily, but you do have to disconnect the battery and remove the LCD Lvds connector. So there we go, we're going to lift that out. And I'm actually going to leave this connector plugged in because I don't need to take it out. But if you do, again, just like all the others, you kind of just grab the area that's kind of protruding and kind of wiggle it and pull it back. If you can't do that, you could grab this cable, but there's a little risk that you'll damage the wires here. If you're going to replace it, then it's not really a big deal. Alright, underneath here, there's actually, oops, you can't see this. Underneath here, there's actually the microphone cable. So there's this plastic tab that you want to peel back. It's just some adhesive. Oh, that latch, I already lifted it up, but yeah. So once you lift that latch up and then you pull this back, you can disconnect the microphone cable there. Alright, and then we're going to kind of pull this up out of the way. Let's go ahead and remove this screw for the battery here. That's the T5 or Torx 5 battery screw. Alright, there we go. Again, they are all different size, shape, and length, so keep that in mind. So here you can see now the battery board can kind of lift up a bit. Alright. Okay, so I think we got all the screws we need to get out to remove the motherboard. So let's zoom out and I'll show you that. Excuse me. Alright. Let's get these crumbs off here. It's making some crackly noise. Alright. So now we're going to lift the whole motherboard up. Alright. You can, if you want, or if you can, lift from the motherboard down here. Okay. So here you can see, and then you can kind of grab the whole thing. You want to be very careful here that no cables are getting trapped on top as you pull it up so you don't accidentally tear them. And again, we're going to pull these things out of the way and slowly lift this up. Alright, and then we're going to slowly slide this back and out of the way. So we got the whole motherboard out. Here you go. There's nothing really on the bottom that you can do unless you do board repairs. I don't do board repairs, but yep. Alright, so I'm going to set this out of the way on one of these anti-static bag type material things. Alright. Okay. So we took the motherboard out. Then we got this one here. We're going to have to switch back to the T8 or Torx 8 screwdriver again. And, oops, sorry. And then we're going to remove that one screw up here in this corner. Okay, you don't want to get that all mixed up. You have to make sure to put this screw back before you put the motherboard back into place. Then we're going to go ahead and lift this up, and then we're going to just pull that out just like that. Very simple. Alright, we'll set that board aside. Okay, so as you can see, the keyboard is trapped underneath the battery. That sucks. So we are going to have to rip the battery up. So to do that, I have battery replacement videos. In this case, I'm not going to peel out all the adhesive residue because we're going to put the same battery back, and there's no way to stick the remove all the old adhesive from the bottom of the battery. I can remove it from the metal casing, but not from the battery. So because of that, we're going to just put some new adhesive in between the battery packs to kind of hold it into place. So let's go ahead and start removing the battery pack. So I use a thin, flexible pry tool like this. It's not sharp or anything. It's not a knife. You don't want to use a knife because if you do, you will end up cutting into the battery pack and you can damage it. I've heard some people use floss to do this, where they'll get the floss underneath the battery and then they'll kind of like saw at the adhesive, but I find that a lot more difficult, so this is what I do. Alright, I just get my thin, flexible tool here and I just cut the adhesive underneath. It's just a foam adhesive. Alright, so this kind of just gets underneath between the layers of the foam and cuts it. And there you go. So we got that pack out. We're going to continue through to the second pack here and just do the same thing. Okay. This adhesive is somewhat peeling itself up. It's kind of weird. It's not so much cutting out as I would have thought. So ouch, I'm hitting my knuckles on the table. So there we go. Basically got both sides up on that side. Now we're going to go turn it around and we're going to do the same thing over here. Okay, let me get the adhesive off my cutting tool. Alright, we're going to do the same thing. Just cut underneath here. And as you notice, I'm just cutting the small one first. You don't want to go straight to the second pack, because if you do, then this side will still be taped down and then it will flex this thing and damage it. So you want to go slowly, one at a time. Alright, working your way over just like that. Alright, if there's adhesive getting stuck, you want to peel that off and throw it away. Alright, let's continue on. Okay, continuing on. Be very careful here because I don't want to have to replace their battery too. That will be a very expensive repair, and they didn't ask for a battery repair, so we have to try and keep their battery intact. Okay, continue working our way down. And there we go. We got the second battery pack there out. Alright, now to get the middle part, it's a little bit trickier because it is raised slightly up. Let me see if I can show you there. So here, as you can see, if I just go straight on, I hit a metal plate, and that's because the trackpad is slightly raised. So we have to lift the tool slightly up and then get underneath there. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. And it's going to be a little tricky now because we are trying to preserve this battery. I wonder if... Actually, okay, we're going to leave this one here. Can I lift it up that way? Since we're going to have to lift up the metal trackpad plate, I'm going to try and pry that metal trackpad plate up. Sorry, I'm trying to see what I'm doing here. No, I don't think that's going to be possible. I think this metal trackpad plate is held in with screws, so we are going to have to work our way through under here. Alright, so let's go ahead and cut up this adhesive. Okay, slowly work our way, and you want to be very careful with this as well. You don't want to accidentally poke the trackpad itself, so we're just slowly working our way down. Okay, and this is pretty tough to do. Again, I don't know how people do this with floss. If you can do it with floss, go ahead, go for it. But I don't know how to do that. Alright, working our way down. Okay, almost there. Last bit. Again, you want to be very careful not to hit the trackpad connectors and stuff. Okay, I think we're good. Don't want to go too far over to the left. Okay, there we go. If you go too far, you don't want to hit that and then damage it, so you want to be very careful. Alright, let's peel off this adhesive residue here. And then let's see if we can cut into this part of the battery up here. So I'm going to tilt it over this way and cut the adhesive up this way. Yeah, this is such a pain. There we go. And we're going to go diagonally here. There we go. And then let's actually see if we can peel this up. Nope. I think it's actually lifting up the metal plate, so let's actually turn this a bit more and then cut that adhesive a bit more. There we go. Alright. See, the battery pack will survive this. Seems okay. Alright, that side seems okay. Let's go ahead and flip it over and go on to this side. Alright. Let's start lower down on this side this time. Slowly working our way over. Somewhat of a painful repair. This keyboard repair is the one I hate the most. Okay, slowly working our way over. Way. There we go. Alright, let's start turning the tool in towards the top. Okay. Let's tilt it more over that way. Okay, did we get all of it up? What's holding on to this? So something's still holding. Let's see if we can lift it up. Nope, something's holding it down. Alright, so let's go from the top here since we can. Normally when I do battery replacement, I can't run the tool through this way. But because we removed the motherboard, now we can. So let's go ahead and see. Oh, there we go. Alright, so now hopefully that's all the adhesive, and hopefully we can lift the battery out. Lift up all the battery packs here like this. And then lift that up, and there we go. So here we got the battery pack out. Here you can see all the adhesive that got screwed up. Some of the adhesive actually survived on these, but yeah, there we go. All right, we're gonna set the battery aside now. All right, if you want, you can peel off this old adhesive if it comes out. All right. Since this adhesive somewhat peels out not too bad, I'm actually going to just peel it out so it's not in the way when we go to stick back on the battery. Again, I can't get all the adhesive off the battery itself. It's too risky, so we're just going to peel off what we can from here, and hopefully it will be okay. I'm going to use this plastic scraping tool. That should hopefully make it a bit easier. There we go. Quite a bit easier here. All right. Let's go ahead and remove this adhesive as well. Okay. All right. I don't know if the adhesive in the center will come out so easily or not. Yeah, I don't think so. Let's try a little bit. Nope. Yeah, maybe, kind of, no. Kind of not really. Let's see, will this peel up? Yeah, some of it. Okay. Go. Got all of that. Normally, if I replace the battery, I would clean all this residue with rubbing alcohol. But again, because we're not replacing the battery and it's going to have the old adhesive in the way anyways, I'm just going to use some rolls of tape to kind of act as a thicker double stick tape to stick in between where there was an adhesive before. And that should hold the battery packs in place well enough to where it doesn't move around. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to have to remove this metal plate, and shoot, I think we're going to need a T3 or Torx 3 screwdriver for that. So let's go ahead and grab that. Sorry, we're ending up needing more screwdrivers than I thought. I think it's T3, right? Will T4 fit in there? No, okay, so it is a T3 or Torx 3, and we're going to remove all the screws holding this trackpad plate in place. Again, keep all the screws in order. 4 going across here, then 3 on either side. Alright, again, let's see, I need to keep these screws out of the way. Apple just had to make this as difficult as possible. One of the reasons I hate Apple. Alright. Alright, now let's go ahead and remove the 3 going down the sides. And then let's remove the 3 down this side. And I'm probably not going to sleep until like 6 or 7, and then I'm not going to get any sleep because people are probably going to call and wake me up. But anyways, there we go. Alright, now let's go ahead and remove this metal plate here. It's all dusty, so I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Alright, cleaned it a little bit. We're going to set that aside now. Let's see if we can blow the excess dust out of here. Alright, next thing we're going to need to do, we're going to leave the trackpad in here, but if you for some reason want to remove it, you actually can. I think you have to switch back to the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver, and yeah, then you can actually remove the trackpad. There's these screws that just go all the way around. Okay, so now we're going to transfer this thing over. So this is going to be a little tricky because we want to get this backlight, the keyboard backlight stuff out, okay, because the replacement keyboard doesn't come with that. So we're actually going to peel this up, and then we're going to peel this out if we can. So try and peel as close to around it as you can. So let's go ahead and peel this off. Slowly, carefully peel this adhesive thing away from the cable. I'm holding the cable down as I slowly peel this. Right, hopefully it remains intact. And there we go. Okay, so we're gonna save this and see about sticking that back on later. Hopefully I remember. Then we're gonna go ahead and peel this cable up and out of the way. All right, now to get this out, I use a needle. You can use whatever works for you. You can use a small flathead screwdriver, but we're gonna peel this black layer up. So here you can see we're lifting this up. Okay, and then we're gonna peel that away. So just peel it like this. There's a thicker plastic underneath, and that's gonna go up with it. All right, so we're gonna peel that. And you wanna be careful when it comes to these sharp edges here, because Apple puts these sharp edges in there, so if you're not careful and you just peel it straight up, it's gonna just tear. So you actually wanna help peel that up before you get over there, okay? And we're gonna slowly peel this up and away, just like this. I don't know how they tuck the cable in, or the stuff in there. We're not gonna really tuck that back in. So let's go ahead and just slowly peel this stuff away. All right, again, you don't want to crease it, so I'm pulling it this way as I kind of pull it up. There's a lot of dust stuck to the bottom. It feels gross, or like crumbs and stuff. But yeah, all right. So we're just continuing to do that, pulling it this way as we peel it up. Slowly working our way over. Okay, and peel that off as well. And there we go. So here you can see this is the keyboard backlight circuit. It is pretty dusty, so I'm going to clean that up a little bit and I'll be back. Alright, cleaned it up quite a bit. I'm actually going to blow the dust out of here too, so that way it doesn't end up all in the stuff when I rip this keyboard out. This keyboard's held in with a bunch of rivets. The replacement keyboard actually came with a bunch of replacement screws, but sometimes these rivets don't come out properly. Actually, to make it a little bit easier, I'm going to actually take the whole screen out. So let's actually go ahead and get that out. We're going to remove this rubber piece as well. Same thing, I'm going to just get under there and peel it up. So as you can see, I peeled up the adhesive using the screwdriver. Alright, and then there's actually two T5 screws here, so I'm going to remove that. Alright. I'm going to keep that together with this little bracket. Okay, if I can. There we go. And we're going to remove the other bracket on this side. So this is going to be like a complete disassembly, except I'm not taking out the tiny components. Alright, let's grab this and take that bracket out. Alright, next thing I want to do is I'm going to actually open the screen all the way. And I'm going to hang this off the edge of my desk. Let me zoom out a bit so you can kind of see. Alright, so I'm going to hang this off the edge of my desk. And then I'm going to finish taking out all these T5 or T8 or Torx 8 screws. Alright. Alright, now that we got all the screws out, I'm going to let the screen drop to about 90 degrees and then lift this screen out. And there we go. We got the screen out. We're going to set that aside. Okay, now we just got the whole palm rest thing. You got the microphone here, keyboard, and the trackpad. I don't know. Should I take out the trackpad too? I don't want to. I'm gonna have, if I take out the trackpad, I'm gonna have to realign everything. So we're gonna just work on it with this. All right. So again, I'm gonna clean out the dust from the keyboard, and I'll be back. All right. See you guys in a bit. All right. So I'm back. Cleaned out the keyboard. Again, this is a very tedious, painful thing to have to remove. First thing we're gonna have to do is find the weak spot. So this has the biggest gap here in the corner. So usually what I do is I like to use that to push this up, and then I'll get a small flathead screwdriver in here, or I guess somewhat of a big flathead screwdriver, and then we'll use that to kind of try and pop out that little rivet there. All right, so I'm gonna take this flathead screwdriver. It's labeled 4, so I'm guessing that means it's like 4 millimeters wide. Let's see if we can get that in. Haven't done one of these in a while. So here you can see you can actually get in that little gap there. I'm going to get as close to the corner as I can. I'm going to try and put my finger over the rivet so it doesn't just fly out at my face, and we're going to try and pry that up. Okay, so there we go. So we pried that up, and here you can see the rivet is still in there. Let's see if we can drop that out. Nope. It's stuck in there. Let me try getting it out with some tweezers here. I don't know if it's permanently stuck there or if I can actually get it out. Yeah, that rivet's kind of stuck there, I think. Sorry, my head's getting in the way. Alright, so I mean, it's out, but it's stuck in there for some reason. So let's see, why isn't that rivet popping through? Normally once you get it out, oh, I think it actually pushed through to the other side of the keyboard. So let me see if I can push it through with the flathead screwdriver. Come on, rivet, come out of there. So normally I like to save these rivets if I can, but it looks like it's stuck there. All right, let's go ahead and move our way over to the next one over here. So we're gonna get our flathead, continue moving over, and then we're gonna try and pry that up. Again, I'm gonna hold my thumb over the rivet so it doesn't go flying. And see if we can pop that up. There we go. All right, so that rivet, as you can see, it just tore the head of the rivet off. So that little piece is still stuck in there. That's not gonna come out. So once I get a few of these out, I put this whole thing in a plastic bag, and I use my hand and I just rip the whole keyboard out, and whatever survives, survives, whatever doesn't, doesn't. So let's see, I'm gonna try and get this one out as well. So I'm gonna work my way over. This rivet's broken. You can actually put some JB Weld over this to help hold it. I don't think I'll be able to get those rivets out. I'll try with some pliers, but most likely I'm not gonna be able to get them out. All right, gonna get the flathead screwdriver, get all the way into this corner, and then I'm gonna try and pry that up. And I think that one just broke as well. So yeah, I hate these Mac keyboards. All right, we're gonna go across to the middle over here to the next rivet, and we're gonna do the same thing. And let's go ahead and try and pry that up. I don't know if there's an easier way to get these out, but oh shoot, that one's not wanting to come up. All right, let's do the next one over here then, and then we'll just pop that. Okay, I think that's enough to where I can just try and rip it with my hands out. Okay, let's see here. I think we do need to get that middle one. So I'm gonna pull this, and there you go. That ring just came out. So yeah, most likely they're all gonna tear now. All right, let me pull this and see if we can get that one. Come on. All right, see, it's just ripping the heads of the things out. All right, anyways, now we're going to get a plastic bag and put it in there. And I have to be careful because I got all the other screws like right in front of me. So what I do is I get this in the plastic bag, and then I get my hands. I know you can't really see, but I'm basically just gonna pull the whole keyboard up, just like you saw, just like this. All right. So hopefully, I mean, you can hear, but it's hard to see because the bag. But anyways, I'm just ripping the whole keyboard out. The reason I have the plastic bag is to catch all the rivets so they don't fly all over the place. And in some cases, you can actually reuse the rivets, but I'm gonna use the screws instead. Okay, so we're just gonna rip this whole keyboard out, just like this. Some people don't care and they just let the rivets fly all over. But yeah, I like to try and catch them if I can. I'm getting all the little pieces flying out everywhere, so I do need to kind of close this. Normally I won't have this over with the camera, so this is a little bit more. I think all those rivets are flying everywhere. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep pulling these things out. A lot of those rivets are breaking. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. Ow. I just cut my finger open, look at that. So keep in mind this is a dangerous repair. Alright. I'm gonna have to be careful. I don't want to get blood all over everything. Okay, come on. Alright. We're almost there. Pull the bag over more. Come on. Am I knocking the screws around a little bit? Okay, I have to be careful here. Right. We're almost there. Come on. Come on, let go. Hate this. I think most of the rivets broke. Oh, come on. Shoot. Okay. I need to bandage my pinky, or at least wipe the blood off. Alright, shoot. Got blood all in the bag. Let me clean that up. Alright. Okay. We're gonna continue. We're almost done. Might have to do the rest off camera because the bag's kind of in the way. But here you can see I ripped out most of the keyboard. Okay, and we're just going to continue ripping it out. So, well, I guess we'll keep it in camera. Come on, can I get this out? Come out. There we go. I'm gonna end up with my blood all over in here. Clean that up. Okay. Alright, last few. Okay, we got the whole keyboard out now. Alright, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip this whole panel upside down in there and get all those little broken rivets out. Okay. Yeah, most of them broke off and are stuck in there, so I don't think we're going to be able to. Let's see, I'm probably going to have to use JB Weld for most of this. I'm gonna try and pull them out with pliers. I mean, there's one hole here. We'll see. Usually I can't pull these out with pliers, so I'm gonna end up having to use a little needle or something and get JB Weld in all those little spots. Yeah, this one only like 2 of the rivets survived. Okay, let me try with the pliers and see what we can do. If they don't come out, then they don't come out. So we're gonna use these pliers here. Actually, okay, I guess 3. We got one in the bottom corner, we got this one, and the one up there. Anyways, we're gonna try with pliers and see if we can pull those rivets out. I doubt it, because usually I can't, but we'll try anyways. Nope, they're just getting shredded. Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to use JB Weld for this. That sucks. Can't grab it with these pliers. Let me try with my small needle nose pliers, but I doubt I'll be able to grab them with those. So I'm probably gonna have to put JB Weld and then leave this overnight. I don't think these needle nose pliers aren't designed for this much force, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to. Yep, nope. That sucks. Alright, well, we got screws for 3 of them. So let's go ahead and put this here. Get all these little pieces lined back up. Alright. Okay, so let's get those super tiny screws here. So it comes with these tiny screws, but again, there's a very good chance you're gonna end up breaking all those rivets. I don't know if there's a special way to remove the rivets better, but almost always I break most of them. So anyways, we're gonna get 3 of these screws, and we're gonna see if we can put those in. I think we're gonna have to use the pH 0, maybe a pH 00 screwdriver. Let's try with the pH 0 or JIS 0 screwdriver and see if we can get those in. Alright, looks like that will work. So we're going to get that one screw in this corner first. We're just going to tighten that down into place. Alright, that one works. Again, most of the rivets broke, so I have no choice. I'm going to have to do it this way. So we got one screw here that will go. It sucks. I don't know if anyone knows a special way to remove those rivets to get them out better. Alright, and then we got the one in this corner here. Alright, so I kind of somewhat have a diagonal of the screws. Let me see if any others survive. I'm going to take a close look. I think all the rivets got yanked out. So we're going to have to do this the hard way, sadly. Alright, so the hard way, we're going to, because otherwise all these keyboard keys will just fall out, is we're gonna have to get some cut up pieces of credit card to hold up the keyboard. Man, I cut myself. Let me wash my hands real quick. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. So I got all these little pieces of cut up credit card. All right, and basically we're gonna use that to hold the keyboard up against the whatever you would call this, the palm rest. All right, and that's how we're going to get the thing glued into place. So I'm gonna get this piece under here, under the shift key. All right, it's a little bit tricky because you're gonna have to lift it up, and then while you're lifting it up, you're gonna have to get the thing under there. So let me actually, I'm gonna use my thin pry tool to make this a little bit easier. We're gonna use that, lift it up slightly, okay? And then while we're lifting that up, okay, we're gonna shove the credit card thing under there. There we go, and that will keep pressure against the trackpad. Let's see if I can get underneath this arrow key to help hold that up as well. I don't know if we're going to be able to get that under there. Nope, I might have to start with the arrow key if it's even possible. I don't think it's possible. Okay, let's actually flip this over, and I'm going to try and get it underneath the arrow key first. So we're going to lift the corner of this arrow key here, and there we go. Kind of pop back out. Alright, so we got that underneath the arrow key, and then let's see if we can somehow get it underneath the shift key as well. I don't know if I can do both. Okay, slide it over this way, lift that up, and get that under there. There we go. Okay, hold it somewhat at an angle, and now as you can see, it holds it completely down there. So what you want to do is you want to go around the keyboard and find spots where it seems kind of springy. So most of this seems okay. Up here, this corner definitely is going to need something. And then you're just going to get those pieces of plastic here, the broken cardboard or credit card, cut up credit card pieces, and just lift up the keys if you can and get those underneath. Alright, so whatever works, I'm going to use a needle or that little tool. Alright, so let's lift that up, get that under there. If we could somehow get the escape key up, then we'll get that under there as well, but probably not going to happen. Let's see. Alright, that's going up slightly. Let's try the escape key first. There we go. And then hopefully I can tilt it enough to get the other piece. Oop. Yeah, this is a huge pain. I warned you, this is not an easy repair. So we're going to go over here, lift this up. Come on, get under there. There we go. Come on, standard. Okay, now that we got it under both keys, let's shove that in. Oops. Now we pop the escape key off. Let's click that back in. Yep, that's not gonna work. So let's see, how can I do this? I need to get it underneath both. But then this key's just gonna pop off. Right? Is it just gonna pop off? Okay, let's make it go underneath the one key. That might be a little bit easier. Okay. And slide that under there. Come on. There we go. Alright, so we just get these two corners up. Here you can see now if I push on the back, it doesn't move anywhere. And we're basically just going to go around the keyboard and find springy soft spots. Alright. This one already, nope. Okay. So even the power button here is a little springy. So we're going to go underneath the delete key and over there. Alright, again, this is a somewhat long, tedious process. So hopefully after watching this you already gave up and just bought maybe the entire thing like this. Okay. But let's go ahead and get under here. Okay, I'm going to use this tool because it makes it easier. Alright, that should hold it there. Okay. Alright, let's check here. Looks like that side's all good. Alright, this center is pretty bad. So around the O and the I area, OL. So let's get underneath there. There. Alright, let's lift up the L. Get that under there. Okay. And that might, oops. Such a pain, I hate these. Okay. Enough. Can I rotate it more? There we go. All right. Let's go and flip it over and check some more. I think we're pretty good now. Alright, we can put one over there. The rest is pretty good. So around the E area and the D. Okay, lift that up. Oops. And hopefully after this, the keyboard's all gonna work, because if it doesn't, then it's gonna be a pain having to take it all out and do it all over again. All right, let's get the D key up as well. Come on. There we go. Get that under there. All right, so there we go. Let's go ahead and check one more time. Maybe a little bit down there. I think the rest is good. Nice and solid, it seems. Somewhat here, not only a little, not really. Okay, so maybe around the command key. So last one. I'm gonna go lift up the command and the X key. Okay, let's lift up the X key. There we go. Flip that and get that under there. Come on. This key's being annoying. Come on, plastic piece, get under there. There we go. Good enough. There we go. Alright, so I think we should be good here. You can actually look at the keyboard and see if anything looks sunken in. Maybe these keys actually. Okay, I'm gonna go across here. Some of them seem like they can go a little bit higher, like the F key and G. Alright, and then we got this area with the F6 and the 6, the Y, the J. So we're going to get underneath the 6 and the F6 key. Okay. Underneath the 6 key first. There we go. And let's see if we can get underneath this key. Actually, I don't think I can go from this side. I think that will just pop the key out, but let's see. Is that going underneath? I don't think so. Nope, that's being really annoying. Alright. Use the needle to kind of help shove it under if I can. Pull this underneath. And shove that in there. Nope, it won't go under there. Okay, that's not going to happen. So, let's try and pull it under the F5 then. Actually, I think under the 6 alone is already enough. It's holding it in place. So, now that we got, it looks like everything is held up into place. Everything seems like it's holding up nicely. Okay. Maybe we can do the command key on this side. It's a little bit springy, but not much, but let's go ahead and do it anyways. Alright, so we're going to go underneath the command key on this side. Go underneath this key as well. Get that under. I'm going to see if I can use my, there we go. Alright, so there we go. We got the annoying part done. We're going to have to now put JB Weld all in all those little unriveted spots, which is also very annoying. So let's go ahead and get the JB Weld. Alright, so what we're going to do now, we're going to mix up a bunch of JB Weld here and move this to the side. Alright, so it's difficult to know about how much we need. I'm just going to kind of put quite a bit and hopefully it will be enough. Alright, so JB Weld, 2-part mix. It's going to be annoying. Alright, so we're going to get this and probably about this much. Do whatever you want. Okay, then we're going to get the black one, try and get an equal amount, and hopefully that will be enough for the entire keyboard. Alright, I'm going to get the black one now. I think that's somewhat of a similar amount. Might be too much, but okay. We're just holding in those little rivets. It doesn't need to be crazy precise exact amount. Okay, get that excess off. Alright, now let's go ahead and mix up this stuff. Okay, we'll use the screwdriver here and we'll stir this up. Sorry, I'm going out of view. Alright. just stir this till it's nice and evenly mixed. Alright, I'm going to actually look at the bottom here. Looks like it still needs to be mixed up. Alright, let's scoop this all together a little bit. There we go. Alright, so that should be pretty good. Now what we're going to do is fill every one of those little rivet holes with the JB Weld. So let's zoom in here and give you a close-up of the most annoying process repair. Alright, so just going to get a little on this, and we're going to just dab it on there. Okay, and we're going to go to the next one, get a little on there, dab it in there. Alright, don't forget the little corner down here, dab it on there. Okay, dab some in there. Right, I warned you this was going to be a very annoying repair. Okay, dab some in there, dab some in there. Let's get the excess out of there and dab it over here. Dab some more over here. Clean up this mess a little bit. Alright, we're just going to keep continuing onto every single one of these rivets. Again, if you want, you can fast forward over this. Okay, I might have to get my head over the camera, so if my head's in the way, I'm sorry. Actually, maybe I'll just do those later when I rotate the thing. Let's continue working our way over. Okay, let me rotate this so I can see a bit better. And of course now you won't be able to see. Oh wait, there we go. Okay, I'm going to continue filling the rivets with epoxy. Okay. This side, I think I need to put some of those little credit card tabs because I see it wiggling a lot. So let's see what I can do here. Oh, those are the down arrows. That's going to be tough. Okay, let's see what I can do here. I'm going to try and put one between the option key and the down arrow there, if I can. Can I lift this up sideways this way? Yeah. Alright, so we're going to get this under here. And I don't know about this arrow key, but let's see here. I don't know. Let's try with the needle. There we go. Alright. That, oops. Let's get under the arrow first then. Might be easier that way. Yep. Alright, and get under the Alt Option key. Come on, get that under there. There we go. Alright, so that hopefully will be good enough. Sorry, I don't know. I think I was doing that out of view of the camera, but let's see. Let me actually just zoom out more so you guys can see more and I don't have to keep worrying about adjusting it. Alright, let's go ahead and fill up all these little holes. Alright. Again, you're welcome to just fast forward through all of this because I know this is a very tedious, boring process and probably no one cares to watch this. But I put it here just so my customer can kind of see, just in case. Oops, I'm going out of view. Let me zoom out some more. Alright, let's continue. This side also feels like it might need a little card holding it in place. Yeah, I'm gonna put one up there too, but let's keep going. See how far it's gonna need it. Uh-oh, my family's awake already. I think it's like 6 a.m. Might have to pause the video to close my door so my brother doesn't come in and interrupt the recording. Okay, this one's all wobbly. Alright, let me put something on this one. That's around the minus key. Actually just going to put this small piece at the minus key itself and hopefully that will be enough. Let's lift that key up. And we'll get that under there. Put it diagonally here. Alright, there we go. Okay, alright, I'll be back. I'm gonna let my brother know I'm recording so he doesn't walk in. Alright, see you guys in a bit. Alright, I'm back. Let's finish putting all the glue in here. I was considering eating something. It's actually already past 6 a.m. But I figured if I did, then all this epoxy is gonna harden, so I need to do this quick. Okay. Let's continue going over all these little rivets. Okay, so this stuff, it has to sit. Normally you let this sit for about 15 hours. Since it's these tiny rivets, you probably don't have to let it sit that long, but I'm gonna just do it anyways. My customer's gonna have to wait for this. And it's gonna suck because I'm gonna have to merge the video because now it's too long. Oops, Be careful not to get it into the key. Clean that up. And make sure I didn't get it in there. Okay, looks fine. Alright, that's a very long, tedious process. Technically, it doesn't even need all these filled. You can kind of skip some in between. But, yeah, just to get the maximum solid secured keyboard, we're just going to do all of it. Alright. Keep going. Hopefully this video will be useful to some people. At least one. Keep going, keep going. Keep in mind I'm doing this with like no sleep. 6 a.m. and I probably woke up before 6 a.m. so I've been awake more than 24 hours now. Okay. We're getting there. Okay, getting there. And if you're wondering, yes, this glue can be ripped out just like the rivets, so worst case, if you need to take the keyboard out, just tear the whole thing out. Alright. Okay, we're getting there. So many little rivets, it's so annoying. gonna have to go over the whole thing and make sure I got them all after this. Getting there. How many do I have left? Almost there. If you're wondering, we're just gonna put the backlight on top. And I'm gonna let it sit for a bit so it's a little bit less sticky, so hopefully it won't completely stick to the backlight. But that will allow us to help flatten out all this epoxy that we're putting here. Okay, did I get them all? This one's missing a little bit. Okay, let me look closer and see what I missed. So I missed all the ones up here. Oh, this one's very wobbly. So we're gonna need something there. Okay, let's see what that is. That's these control buttons here. So let's go ahead and put some piece of plastic under there. We can actually put this along the control and the option keys, I guess. So let's go ahead and lift that option key up, get that under there. Lift the control key up. And oops. Just trying to get underneath both at the same time, but that failed. What is it caught on? Alright, so we get those both under there. And hopefully that should be okay. Pretty good. Alright, let's go ahead and stick back the rest of here. I don't know about the spacebar key. Let's see, is there a way I can lift that one from here? Can I put that in there? Is that gonna stay? I guess I have to do like the corner, so let's go ahead and get the corner there. Let's do the corner of this one as well. Can't get it completely flat here. Can I lift that slightly? There we go. can't really move that around much more. Okay. Oops, I got a little of the epoxy on my hand. Alright, we're almost there, I think. Oh, actually, there's quite a few. I didn't do this whole row here. Oh my goodness, there's still a lot left to go. It's never ending. We're getting there. We're getting there, guys. Good, I didn't make too little, I was worried. Okay, now for the close-up inspection. Probably add a little more to a lot of them. Okay, I see one that I missed. Alright, I see one that I missed, and then the rest just maybe need a little bit excess. So, where'd it go? Here we go. Alright, let's see which ones I need to fill. This one here a little bit. Again, I'm going to let it set for a bit before I put the thing back on top. That way it won't be super sticky. These need more. My brother's going to work now. More for that one. this one, I need to clean it up. Alright. Almost there. Just cleaning it all up now. And then I'll leave it for at least an hour before I put the thing back on. All of these still have a slight little movement, but I don't know. Once this sets, it should hold it really strong. Okay. Alright, I think that's pretty much as good as we're gonna get. Just gonna have to let it sit, and then we'll compress it with the backlight. A little bit more here. Okay. One more close-up check. It looks all good. Alright. So I'm going to let this sit for an hour, and then we're going to put the backlight on and push these little things down a little bit just to make sure they're completely flat. And yeah, alright, I'll see you guys in a bit. Bye. Alright, I'm back. So let's actually put on the keyboard backlight now. We're going to leave this sitting for 15 hours or so after this. But for now, we're going to just stick this back on. Alright, so you want to line up these little circles back with these raised posts here. Okay, so you want to just look for those. Make sure to get it lined up. There we go. Get that lined up, and this lined up. Alright, and then we're just going to go ahead and push this stuff down. Right, get these all lined up as well. And slowly push that down. Alright, want to make sure everything is nice and flat and even. And we're going to just go work our way over. Okay, so just get all of that into place. Then if you want, you can go ahead and just lightly kind of press it into place. Just like this. You don't want to push it down too hard. Alright, just lightly get that into place since the adhesive is still soft. Alright, and then we're going to just push this down, make sure the adhesive goes all the way along against the walls here. Just like that. Alright, same thing with this one. There we go, stick that on, stick that down, stick this down. Alright, then if this has, I don't know if this has a peelable adhesive, it doesn't seem like it. Can we separate these two layers? Nope, doesn't seem like it. So I thought this was like an adhesive protective coating, but I guess not. So this, we're just going to fold it over like that. Alright, and then we're going to put that metal plate back on top. So we have this metal plate here. I'm going to get this back up here. Alright, and we're just going to stick that on there. Just like that. Okay. And just make sure that this cable is evenly out. Alright, and then let's go ahead and put back those T5 or Torx 5 screws. Alright, let's go ahead and switch back to the T5 and put back the trackpad cover screws. Alright, so I'm going to loosely fit these screws first just to make sure all the screws go in. These can be a little bit tricky. There we go. Alright. Wait, oh, I'm putting the wrong screws, sorry. We're going to need the T3 or Torx 3 screwdriver for this. I wonder why it wasn't working right. There we go, makes more sense now. Sorry, I'm still running on like no sleep. Okay, let's get all these screws in. Again, we're just loosely fitting them first to make sure everything is lined up properly. And once everything is lined up properly, we can go ahead and tighten all the screws back in. Alright. Okay, now that we've got everything lined up, let's go ahead and tighten down the screws. I'm tightening these first just so the cable stays in place. There we go. Alright. These all into place. Go. Alright, and then get the last three over here in place. Alright, and then I'm gonna let this sit again overnight, or not overnight, but for about 15 hours, just so the epoxy can completely set before I move it around too much. I don't want to accidentally knock out any of the little things I put on the bottom to keep the keys pressed firmly. Alright, so actually, let's see, can we put any of the other components in first? Let's actually put the motherboard back in. I think we can do it and just be very careful with all the other stuff. So let's go ahead and get this board in because this one will end up underneath. So we're going to put this first. Okay, you have to put it slightly at an angle like that and then let it go down into place. Make sure these metal things go underneath. Alright. So you want to make sure these metal tabs are not on top of the aluminum housing. Okay. There we go. Let's go ahead and get the T8 screwdriver and put that screw back in. Alright, make sure it's all aligned properly here. Okay. This is kind of being weirdly aligned. There we go. Okay, make sure that's all aligned properly, and then we're going to tighten this T8 screw in. This T8 screw is a special screw. It actually has a screw hole for the screw that goes into the heatsink, so keep that in mind. Alright, okay, and then let's go ahead now and put back the motherboard on top. Alright, and when you do this, you want to be careful. Make sure that all these cables end up back on top, alright, especially the keyboard cable, because if we don't have that in, then that's going to defeat the purpose of replacing the keyboard. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this whole thing lined up. You want to get the headphone jack lined up into the headphone slot, alright, and then again you want to push down these metal tabs to make sure they go underneath this and not on top. Okay, this one's wanting to go on top, make sure it goes underneath. And then slowly lower this down. Make sure the cables are on top again. Make sure the keyboard backlight cable here is on top, the microphone cable, this piece, all right, and of course the keyboard connector, which is going to be somewhat difficult because it's completely flat. So we are going to have to hold this up and get that up and out of the way. There we go. All right, so make sure everything is lined up right. Okay, looks good. Again, make sure these metal tabs are underneath the aluminum part. If it's not, you're gonna have to take the motherboard back out and make sure to get it aligned properly. Okay, make sure everything is pushed into place well. And then let's go ahead and start putting some screws in here. So I'm gonna do this so that I don't have to take it all completely apart again. Let's go ahead and get this. Okay. So next thing you're going to do, it helps to use your charger. Make sure your charger's unplugged from the wall. I have this adapter thing here, so I'm going to use this. And I use that to hold the charger into the right spot. And now we're going to put back those screws to hold that into place. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver. And we're going to get those screws back in. Again, I'm holding the charge port, pulling it slightly out to make sure it's completely firm against the frame of the laptop. Okay, get this one. There we go. Now we can release that. Okay, let's go ahead and put back the other screws. We got the first motherboard screw here. That into place, and the screen I'll put in afterwards because that I'm gonna have to lift everything up. So yeah, all right, next we're gonna get this screw into place here. All right, then we're gonna get this screw here. All right, let's slowly work our way over. Let's see, we'll put back this stuff last because we are not going to put the battery back yet. Or actually, we can. Let's go ahead and plug this cable in. Just get that lined up. And pinch the two back together. Okay, let's see. Got this cable. One for the trackpad, and then this one was for those two. Okay, let's go ahead and get the rest of these screws. So we had those two. Let's go ahead and get this one here. This in properly. Let me make sure. This might be slightly uneven, so let me undo these screws slightly. Get this lined up right. There we go. Let's tighten up all these screws. Tighten up this screw. Alright, let's go ahead and get this one here. I'm going to loosen up the fan screw so I can get this all evened out here a little bit. Alright. Let's get this screw in here. Oops, I'm switching to the PH0 or JAS0 screwdriver. And we're going to get this heatsink screw down into place. There we go. Alright, switch back to the T5 or Torx 5. get the fan screw into there. Hold that into place, tighten it down. We can go ahead and tighten this one back down. Alright, get the other fan screw here. This isn't lining up right now. Okay, I'm gonna have to like loosen all of these so I can get it all lined up properly. Alright, let's actually also undo the PH0 or JS0 screw a little. Switch back to the T5 and let's get this fan back lined up properly. Okay, there we go. And then we'll tighten that down. Alright, let's tighten down all the T5 screws. Alright, I think that's everything. Get the PH0 or JS0 screw tightened as well. Okay, let's see, we got... What did I do with that one screw? It's missing. Did I miss something here? Oh, okay. The screw I put in the wrong spot. So you had those two. Alright. Let me double check here. Yeah, this screw's different from the other one, so. Get that in. Okay. This one goes here. And we have this one screw here. Alright, let's go ahead and reattach this cable. Actually, we're gonna need to put the... Okay, we'll leave that out for now because we have to put the battery in first. So, I'm gonna see if I can put the battery in right now. Let me peel off some of that extra gunk. Alright, let's see, what kind of tape should I use to hold this into place? We'll use this tape because it holds better. Alright, let's get the keyboard connector in, make sure that latches up. Let's see if we are going to be able to do this right. I'm going to use this tool to kind of help lift it back a little so that we can kind of roll this. Okay, so the cable needs to kind of roll back like that. And we're going to get the keyboard cable into place. Alright, just like this. Come on, keyboard cable, get in there. Let me zoom in a bit here so you can see what's going on. Okay, so trying to pull this cable back in here, get that all lined up, and then we can hopefully push that in. There we go. Keyboard cable's in, latch that down. Good. If you want, you can double check, make sure everything's good. Alright. Okay, what's next? Let's go ahead and start reconnecting all the other stuff. Let's zoom out here a little bit. Okay, we got the keyboard backlight cable here. Put that lined up. And then just click that down into place. Good. Alright, microphone cable down here. Get that lined up. Pull that into place using that plastic tab and then flip that latch down. There we go. Alright, hopefully the keyboard stuff's all in place. Okay, looks okay. Alright, let's zoom out a bit here. Let's see what else we got. Let's now get the battery. So I'm going to get the battery ready by attaching some rolled up pieces of tape. So let's try and get this thing out of the way. Let's get the battery over here. Okay, so the battery, we're going to attach some rolled tape to it. Let me get this stuff off if I can. Oh, that's held in with adhesive. Alright, so this, okay, so it's about that height. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to use this and roll up some pieces of tape and use that to hold that back into place, the battery pack. Okay. So get the tape here. Alright. And then we're just going to try and roll it to fit this pack like that. Alright. Roll that over. Just like that. And then we're just going to stick that on top. Just like this. Okay, there we go. And we're going to do that for all the packs here. And hopefully that will be enough to hold it in place. Because they have the messed up adhesive there, I'm only going to roll it to the center. Okay, there's no point making it go to the outer edges. So we're going to roll this here, just like that, and then roll that up. Oops. Alright, let's go ahead and stick this tape down here. Okay. And do the same thing with the longer ones. Again, the reason I'm using this and not just regular double stick adhesive is because with this kind of tape, let's see here, cut it this way. With this kind of tape, it's a little bit thicker when I roll it. So when I roll it like this, it's thicker. Alright. If I use double stick ad tape, it's too thin, and then it's not gonna make a solid stick. So let's get that. Alright. Same thing with this one. This as well. Okay. 2 more to go. Repair took an entire day. Alright, get this together. Okay, and then the last one. Piece of tape here. Alright, now let's go ahead and install the battery back into place. Just gonna put this here. Alright, you want to be careful and make sure to hold all the packs at the same time. I use my arm like that. Gonna flip this over. You want to line up the little bottom edges of this plastic feet here. Okay, drop that in. Alright, looks like it lines up nice. Get that all lined up nice, and this lined up nice. And then you can go ahead and push that all down. Let's go ahead now and put back the speaker here. So the speaker, just get it lined up. And then you can just click that connector into place. This should follow that gap, okay? And the other speaker, slide it in slightly at an angle like that. And then get that connector and click that into place. Alright, let's go ahead and put back the battery connector screw here. Okay, get it lined up right. I have to pull it over slightly. There we go. Alright, let's get back in all these speaker screws. I just loosely fit that screw first to make sure I get all 3 screws in. Excuse me. Alright, now we can go ahead and tighten them all down. Alright. Get the other 3 screws in here. Screw. Alright, tighten those in. Alright, again, the screen we're going to do later. This will connect later. Let's go ahead and connect all these other things. So we got this cable, make sure you get the right side, so they should be mismatched. So this one has the gold rim, this side has the gold rim, and then it connects to the one that doesn't. Alright. So that's how you want it to do. Opposites. Alright, click that in. Click that in. There we go. Let's go ahead and get these metal brackets back in. Tighten that down, good. Alright, let's go ahead and put the trackpad cable back in. Let me zoom in here to make it a little bit easier to see. So this cable, of course, make sure that latches up. You want to be careful because there's the adhesive here, so it's going to be, you have to try and keep it from touching that adhesive when you go to plug this in. Alright, once you get that all plugged in, you can slide that latch down and then you can kind of push that. Alright, keep the middle up. And then get this connected here. Okay, once you get it connected, then you can go ahead and press somewhat in the center to kind of evenly press it down, just like that. There's some gunk there. Alright, let's get the metal plate back on and the screws that hold it in place. And pretty much all that's left is the screen. So again, we're going to put that back last, and then we're going to plug in the battery afterwards. So you want to make sure not to plug in the battery until you get the screen connected. All right. So again, now we're just going to leave this up like this so that the keyboard can completely set. All right. And then once the keyboard is completely set up, pulled up, then we should be good to go. And we can go ahead and reconnect the screen. Alright, so I'm gonna finally get some sleep, and then we're gonna put the screen back in. I'll see you all later. Bye. Alright, so it probably was sitting long enough now for the epoxy to set. I actually got in an accident recently, so you can see my hands are all bloody and stuff. But let's go ahead and remove all these credit card pieces. So let's actually zoom in a bit here. Okay, we're just going to slide all these little pieces out. Make sure that the keys all press OK once you take them out. Okay. Alright, slowly get all of these out. Alright, looks good. Okay. Looks good. Alright. Just continue sliding all these out. Again, check all the keys that had the things underneath it. You want to make sure that they press OK. Alright, looks good. Looks good, feels good. Okay. Alright, all the keys look like they're good. Let's go ahead and get this one out. Alright, let's get this one. This one's going to be somewhat difficult to remove. I'm going to have to use like a needle or something to get it out. Actually, let's try with this. There we go, perfect. Make sure you get them all out. Alright, all the keys feel good. Okay, should be good to go. Alright, so now we're going to put the screen back in. So we're going to flip this back over. Again, we had everything else already reinstalled except for the screen, and we didn't reconnect the battery. So we're going to turn it this way again. Oops, too far. Just like that. And now we're going to take the screen, oops, and we're going to slowly lower it in. You want to hold these cables up and out of the way. Alright, and slowly lower that into place. Go. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the T8 or Torx 8 screws. I'm just going to put the ones in the center here. Okay. Oops, I switched it around. Give me a second. Actually, that's right. Okay, so we're going to get that there. Get this here. Alright, now that we got all those screws in, we're going to slowly close this. Alright. Sorry if the messed up hands make it hard for you to work on this or scares you. You can just consider this Halloween edition. Alright. So now that we've gotten that closed, I'm going to loosen the screws a little bit. Let's actually get all the rest of the screws into place. Alright. And we're just loosely fitting these screws in. Alright, next thing we're going to do, we're going to make sure that this is all lined up. Alright, you want to make sure to align all the edges, make sure everything is nice and aligned properly. Then we can go ahead and now tighten down the screws. Okay, start with like one first. Oops, we didn't get this antenna cable underneath here, so let's actually tighten this one down. Alright, so we're going to get the iSight webcam cable underneath this part of the antenna bracket. There we go. Work our way over here. Alright, so you actually want the antennas on top. Alright. Now that we got all of that in place, you can go ahead and tighten these screws down. You can add some thread locker too. There's still enough thread locker that it's holding pretty tight here, so we're not going to add that. Let's go ahead and tighten this all the way into place. Good, alright. Okay, there we go. We're going to do the same thing on this side, tighten all those screws into place. Alright. there we go. And then we're gonna put these, well, actually, let's go ahead and switch to the T5 or Torx 5 screwdriver. And we're gonna put these little metal brackets into place here, okay, just like this. Get lined up and slowly tighten it into place. There we go. Alright, get this in as well. Tighten that down. There we go. Alright, hopefully you guys are appreciating this Halloween edition repair. I'm working through the pain in my hands to do these repairs. But, yeah. Alright, so we got all of that. Let's go ahead and reattach the LCD or Lvds connector. Alright, just get it lined up here. And then with both hands, pull that in. Once you get it in, flip that latch down. I'm going to switch over to this side now. I need to get this cover out of my way. Okay, now we're going to reconnect the eyesight or webcam cable. So get that into place and then kind of just walk it back in, left, right, left, right. Okay, and you can push that down. Alright, get the fan rubber piece back underneath the heat sink. And now we're just going to get these wireless antennas back in. Let's zoom in so you can get a better view here. Okay, oops, let me turn off my battery charging. Sorry if it was making staticky sounds, I always forget to turn that off. Alright, there we go. Now just get the antennas lined up. You want to get it lined up completely here. Alright, so let me actually do this with some tweezers so my hand's not in the way. So you're going to grab that, get it lined up. Alright, once it's lined up, you'll know because it won't really move around. And then you can go ahead and snap it down. Okay, same thing with all the others. Get lined up. Alright, and then snap it down. Last one. Alright. And snap it down. There we go. Oh, I pulled it back up. Okay. And there we go. So now we got all three antennas in as well. Alright, last things left to do. Let's zoom out here. We're going to reconnect the battery and then test it. Alright, you want to actually also do a PRAM and SMC reset. Oops, too far. So let's go ahead and plug this battery back in, just like that. Alright, we're going to put the bottom cover back on top. Click that into place. Let's flip this over. Alright, let's go ahead now and plug this in. Alright, so if the battery isn't 100%, you'll see that the light will be orange here. And then to do a SMC reset, we're going to do Control Option Shift on the left side and then the power button. You'll see the light goes to green and then back to orange. That's how you know you did the SMC reset right. Now we're going to do a PRAM reset, power it on, and then Command Option P and R, hold those buttons down. You should see the screen come on and then flash off. Once it flashes off, you know that you did it right. If the OS on this model chimes, then you can wait till you hear it chime twice. So here you can hear it chime. I'm going to hold it again. The first one, it was muted, so that's why when it reset the PRAM, it turned the volume back up, and that's how you know that you did it right. But there you go, we hear the chime twice, and now we know we're good to go. So I'm going to let this boot up, and then we're going to put back in the remaining screws. So it's booting up pretty quick. Alright, let that run through. There we go, and it booted up. So that's pretty much all there is to it. You do want to kind of open up a user account and then just type all the keys just to make sure everything's working. I can see the caps lock light is okay. Alright, if you want, you can check the keyboard backlight. You might have to cover the camera so that it will allow it to change. Otherwise, it'll think that it's too bright in the room and then it's not going to work. Right, volume works, volume works. Okay, those keys work. I'm going to open Notepad and then I'm going to just type in the usual thing. Alright, so let's type in a note here. Usually I type the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. and then I type all the letters or the numbers, all the special characters, press the enter key. Alright, check both shift keys. Caps lock works, tab works. Alright, Command A works, Command X on the other side works. Alright, so now we know it's all good. I don't know what to test with the option key. Function key you can try holding and see if it does the regular commands, and it looks like it's good. Alright, so we should be good to go. Other thing, the arrow keys, alright, up, down, left, right, looks good. Alright, and that's all there is to it. Let's go ahead and put back the screws now. We're going to shut this down, right? Delete the files and shut it down. We're going to close this, and we're just going to now go ahead and put back all the pentalobe 1.2 or P5 screws. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. And other than that, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys. Again, if it did, make sure to like, subscribe, and share my channel with others so that they can also learn how to upgrade and repair their devices. If it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel so that I can continue making these videos for a living. Again, these are customer computers, so once you watch these videos, most likely I won't have the computer anymore. But other than that, thanks for watching. You're welcome to stay while I put back the rest of the screws. That's pretty much it. Alright. Alright, last few screws. And also we're going to try and clean off this front part because it looks kind of gross. So let's actually clean that off. Alright, just going to get a little rubbing alcohol, spray it on there, and wipe that off. Alright, cleaned up nicely. I don't know what they spilled on there. There's some kind of stuff on there, like milk residue or something. Alright, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Alright, here you can see. Alright, bye. Let's drop this.